I'm Tony Sklar for BNet TV, coming to you live from Mobile Internet World here in Boston. I'm here with Clayman from MTV Networks. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Not too bad. So, you know what? You've been in this industry now for a little while. MTV is an excellent pioneer when it comes to mobile development, mobile pushing, mobile streaming. Monetizing that value chain. MTV has always been innovative and always had some great ideas.
Well, thanks.
So let's talk about why you're here and what MTV is doing to fuel that ecosystem.
Cool. Well, so what we've been doing and we've been working on for the past year really is the development of mobile websites. Mobile websites for MTV, VH1, Comedy Central, CMT, Nickelodeon, the whole slew of them. And what's happening is as more and more people are beginning to use their mobile phones to go to the web and are going and spending a lot more time in what we call WAP, or mobile web areas, we are super serving them with content that they love and that they see from both on air and online. And a big part of that, a big part of how we monetize that, is advertising.
Right.
And one of the things I'm doing here is talking about advertising and talking about some of the standardization that we sort of really need in that industry to be able to build a bigger business around that.
Well, God knows that in this mobile in the mobile world right now, it is still the wild, wild west, and one of the biggest monetization standpoints is always going to be advertising for sure. Obviously, from MTV's standpoint, you're going to want to make sure that people are using the advertising to the best of their ability, so that name and your chains are getting out further. But I have to appreciate the fact that MTV has always been pushing the convergence of the true sense of convergence, because people use that term really loosely. That you do such a great job in making sure that all aspects of not only the web side of things, but the TV side of things, and then the mobile experience all get converged into one sort of spot where it's fun, interactive, and engaging.
Okay, so that's a really interesting point, and one of the things...
That's how I ended with engagement, because that was why I was rounding that out, but anyways.
All right. Well, I'll talk about engagement. Engagement is very important. No, but it's a really interesting point, which is that, a couple of years ago, particularly, you had very discrete products for this is mobile, and it's going on a mobile phone. It's a game. It's an application. It's a video stream. This is online. And it may or may not be connected with them. This is on air. And one of the things that we are really focused on now doing is, to exactly your point, engaging consumers across all three of them. So we've got, for example, voting for shows, where you can vote from your phone via text message. You get a message back. It leads you to a WAP site. On the WAP site, the wireless website, there's what you'll find stuff that you maybe can't find on the actual website. So there's different and discrete parts of content, specific parts of content that all work together, to create an experience, one experience around a brand. Because for example, you might be a big fan of Paint My Ride.
I might be.
All right, just as an example. For sure. Or the Hills, or Chila Tequila, or Southpark.
Chila Tequila for sure. But anyway.
Okay, so let's still talk about that. But it's you don't care as a fan whether or not you're seeing something on a phone, whether or not you're seeing it on the screen, whether or not you're seeing it online. You just want to engage with that content, and especially young people, they do it all at once. I mean, they're sitting in front of the TV, and they have a computer out, and they have a mobile phone out, and so it just makes sense to us to be able to build products that cross all of those lines.
Do you kind of feel that MTV is really lucky because that demographic that you have in the clutches of your hands is really who's driving the industry when it comes to the mobile internet space?
Yeah, no, I mean, young people are the IT,
they're the pioneers
in their own home, right?
For sure.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, that's the first people who, for example, watch mobile video were all people that were in that demo. It's one of the reasons that our content, does so well in it. I mean, we've seen, what's the number? We've grown by 400%. 4 times.
You looked off camera. What was it? Yes, it was 400%. Give or take, right?
But in terms of the amount of video,
I'm getting it in now. Sorry, it was 400.
Right. It was 402, 403. It continues to grow. No, but the amount of mobile video, for example, that we've streamed this year over last year.
Right.
I mean, it's an incredible amount of content. And to your point, it's because the audiences who love this stuff are the audiences for Comedy Central, for Nickelodeon, for MTV.
And they're pulling it as fast as possible, which leads me to my next question, which is, okay, let's look at some of the constraints within the industry and some of those bottleneck standpoints where MTV, obviously, you want to push out through, as fast as that throughput's going to allow you to get it through. But obviously, we know there's some constraints in the industry when it comes to the carriers, the handsets, the standardizations of...
You did it again.
I did it again.
So standardization is a really big one for us.
I'm really good at that, by the way.
Well, you're in the right job. But standardization is a really important one for us because right now, you develop an application, for example, it is going to be different for every handset on every carrier. carrier, right? And so it's one Java implementation here, there's another one here, there's a brew thing here, and you can spend a lot of time and a lot of effort just making sure this thing works across multiple carriers, and that takes time and it takes money. And the same thing is true, for example, advertising. We were talking about everybody does it differently. Every carrier presents advertising differently. They have different rules. They have different ways of reporting it. You know, if you want to know, for example, how many people watched a video stream that we have on MTV, I can tell you because I get the data from the carrier themselves. But there's no third party
metric that's sitting there where you can
and Nielsen wants to be the Nielsen of mobile, and that's great, and maybe they'll get there. But right now, it's still in its infancy, and so, you know, lack of standardization for reporting, lack of standardization for platforms, lack of standardization for you know, even just very philosophies as to where one should be advertising what is something that is it's certainly a challenge.
Well, I guess that's one of the reasons why they said that only 8% of the Fortune 1000 companies right now are advertising through a mobile experience, although that's still a phenomenal amount of money. We're still talking about so much more monetization that's going to be available to this ecosystem within the next so many years.
And that's an excellent point. It's that, you know, we're growing fast. You know, we have clients like Johnson & Johnson, clients like, you know, like Intel, like Pepsi, like, I mean, you know, blue chip clients who are in the space. But the question is, how do you go it faster?
Right.
And how do you make it even bigger? Because we know the potential is there.
Right. So now we get back to the point of why you're here at this particular conference and what you're hoping to achieve out of it.
Well, I'm here because I love Boston.
Right, fair enough.
And it's a fun place to be.
Yeah.
No, this is the inaugural Internet World Conference.
It is the inaugural.
A mobile Internet World Conference.
That's right.
And, you know, one of the reasons that we're here is both to speak and present. I mean, we were up on stage, but also to see what everyone else is kind of talking about and working on. And a big theme here is, in fact, exactly what we're talking about. It's standardization. It's open platforms. You know, the Google Android guys are here.
Right.
And they're going to sort of, you know, show us under the hood and look at that. Tim Berners-Lee, the father of the internet, is here, you know, and he's telling us.
Great speaker. We've got that one on tape right now.
All right, well, that's awesome. It's an awesome speech. And so, you know, we're very interested in collaborating with folks across the entire value chain. And what's interesting at this conference, actually, is that they're all here. I mean, senior folks from carriers, handset manufacturers, application developers, you know, all the way, you know, content providers. And so it's really nice to be able to be in one room and have exactly these sort of conversations so we can work together on how do we get to the next point.
Well, gosh knows that next point is continually changing, and that pendulum swings every day, and hopefully the wild, wild west will come a little bit closer together.
A
little less wild, so the next time we speak, we've got a little bit more direction on how to monetize and how to get through those value chains. I appreciate you taking the opportunity today to talk with me at this the inaugural Mobile Internet World here in Boston. I'm with Clayman from MTV Networks.
Thank you very much.